Okay, I am here for the January Sweetest Honey last video. This will be for layout 4. And this was an optional Cricut bundle. So if you did not purchase this bundle, you don't actually have to watch this video until, except of course, unless you want to. Okay, so just a couple of things. This is also going to be a fairly short video. I want to talk to you about how I placed my random shapes behind my honeycomb. I want to talk to you about this banner right here, about these tags, and about adding these fancy frames to where your photo is going to go. So that'll be it. And now what you'll need is, today you'll need a pencil, you'll need a ruler, you'll need, of course, your base page, your overlay, your honeycomb overlay, and then you need scraps of paper that you're going to use. Now for mine, I used white, I used black, I used pewter, and then I also used Sundance in just a couple of places. All right, and you're going to want to put those into, or cut them into 1-inch squares. So I have a couple here just to show you. All right, so you'll just want 1-inch squares, and that's how you're going to start. Okay, and I'm only doing the 2 colors. You don't need to see me do all the different colors because they all work the same. Okay, so I'm going to start with, I think, this frame. Okay, so you know that these are 6 inches across because they are perfectly matched for a 4x6 photo. You also know that you want to line up the straight edge of each of the frames with the straight edge of each of the scalloped borders. All right. Now to get your frame centered where you want it, you just have to think about how much space will be left on either side. So if this is a 6-inch photo, that leaves you 6 inches altogether left over. And if you divide that in 2, because you want it in the middle, that gives you 3 inches on this side and 3 inches on this side. So what you can do, put your page, and of course you're going to, this will be already, you will have your honeycomb background, you'll have your lace border, and you will have your Sundance strip placed. Okay. So what you're going to do is just take your ruler. Okay, now I have lined up my base with this corner, not quite, it's just close. Okay, so I know my paper is straight, and I'm going to lay my ruler at the top of my verse mat at the 3-inch mark. And then I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom of the mat. I'm going to put it at the 3-inch mark. Okay, and then I'm just going to very lightly put a very small line. You can see I didn't get mine exactly right the first time, but that's okay. Okay, and I just did a very small mark right there. And then another one right there. I hope you can see it. That will help you to line up these 2 photo frames. Once you have those in place, then you can add your honeycomb, you can add your 2 pennants, and then you're ready to put your photo down. So really, that's all there is to that one. Okay, so that's that. Now I want to talk to you about this banner. Okay, this banner is, in my mind, way too big for this layout, the way that it came. So what I did was I cut it out the regular size. So this is the regular size that you'll get. All right. And I put it all together exactly the way it came. So you can see here that I attached my black layer to the back of my shortbread layer. And then I took that whole piece and I added it to the white cardstock. And I left about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. Now, once I had that in place, I took the whole thing, and this will be before you add your lace border, and then line it up with the edge of your Sundance and you can see how much it hangs over. All right, so what you can do is trim this down until you get it to where you want it to go. And so for this one, I would say, I can't remember exactly how much I trimmed it down. Just hang on and let me, I'm going to do it an inch. I'm pretty sure it needs an inch. Okay, and then I'm going to put it there. So yes, an inch will work. You could even do 3/4 of an inch, trim 3/4 of an inch off if you wanted to. And that would still work, but it would just go down a little further. Okay, so that is what I did with that one. And then just as a reminder, when you get your lace borders, they're going to come with lots and lots of little pieces still stuck inside where all the holes are. So I would suggest that you just take, 10 or 15 minutes before you start, grab your pokey thing or your fine tweezers and just take care of that. Okay, poke them all out front to back, always front to back. Okay, now these tags up here, they come to you as a full-sized tag, and whether you want to use them that way is up to you. I did not, mine are permanent. Okay, I glued everything in. So if you want to use them as working tags where you're using them for journaling and whatnot, when you go to attach your Sundance strip of paper and your lace border, you want to make sure that you're not putting any glue. Okay, so you don't want any glue. You want to have a little bit of glue, 1/4 of an inch on the edge, then no glue for 4 inches. Okay, so this part here, you're going to have your honeycomb base down. Then you're going to put a little glue on this end, but only 1/4 of an inch, and then leave 4 inches free. So now you can still glue down here. You just need to be able to slide those in there. And then I would suggest using a little bit of repositionable tape, adhesive, on the backs of these. And that way they still stay in place, even though they're in a pocket. Okay, so that is that. All right, so my last thing I want to show you is how I placed my pieces of cardstock. Now I don't have the honeycomb in shortbread. I didn't have a big enough piece of scrap, so I did it just in raspberry on white. It'll work out exactly the same. Okay, here are my 1-inch squares. Okay, you're going to need a pencil for this. All right, so if we look at the left page, all right, we can see that I have a white cardstock background in the third full one over from the right side. So what I did was I counted over 3. 1, 2, 3, turned it over, and I marked a W there. Okay, for white. Okay, flip it back, and then we can count over and we can see 1, 2, 3, 4 empty ones, and then a black one. So if we go from our white one, 1, 2, 3, 4 empty ones, and then you want to put a black one in this honeycomb. So I put a B there. Okay, and then we can see right to the left, the one honeycomb right below the black. Okay, and our black is this one right here. So that would be this honeycomb right here. That one's going to be pewter. All right, and then this one over here, we can see it is 1 over and then diagonally down from the white one. So we want the white one, which is this one right here. So 1 over and then diagonally down. So this one right here will be Sundance. Okay, that's really all you have to do. Okay, now to attach your pieces. Okay, I want my black one over here. I'm just going to, hopefully my glue is still cooperating with me. I'm just going to add, you don't need a lot of glue. Okay, don't forget that these pages are going into a page protector. Okay, and you're not going to be taking them in and out probably. Whoops, that's a little much. Okay, so you just want a little bit. Okay, remember we're on the back. Okay, so I'm just going to place that down, grab my microfiber cloth to soak up the extra glue. Oh, yeah, I wonder where that came from. That's interesting. I've got a bunch of fibers. Oh, I know, from the twine. Okay. All right, so that's what you see. Okay, now can you see right here where we've got some little tips sticking out? So all I did was grab my fussy cut scissors. Okay, and then I'm just going to pull the paper up just a little. Okay, and I'm just going to snip those little extra edges off. And it's a good idea to do this as you go. Okay, and it was just the two. And now that's perfect. Okay, so now let's move over to, I want to do the Sundance one. Where did I put my S? Right there. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, where my S is, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, a little bit. That's the key thing here, just a little bit. Now I have to remember for this, okay, what side do I want showing? All right, and for this one, I think I want the light side showing. So this is the light side here. So I'm going to put that facing down. All right. Grab my microfiber cloth, pick up any of that extra glue, turn it over and do the same. Okay, and then I've just got just a little bit sticking out there. So I'm going to grab my fussy cut scissors again and just out there, here. And oh, I see just a little tiny bit showing there. Probably wouldn't even be noticeable, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Okay, there you go. Now you can see I've got a little bit of glue dried there. Okay, maybe you can't see it. I don't. There. So for that, all I'm going to do is grab my, once it's dry, you have to wait till it's dry. I'm just going to grab my adhesive eraser and going in one direction, I'm just going to lightly rub across it. And that will get rid of it right away. All right. So once you have put these where you want them, you've got them all in place, then you're just going to turn your the grid over, and then you're going to add dots of glue all along the outside edge. This. And then just randomly, you don't need a lot, just randomly across the honeycombs. And then you're just going to turn it over and line it up. And don't forget, you want 1/4 of an inch of a margin all the way around the outside. And that's exactly what you got. Okay. So just let me double check that I've got everything down here that I wanted to show you. And I believe that I do. All right then. That is it. That is January's Sweet as Honey. Thank you very much for following along. If you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments. You can email me, you can text me, and stay tuned for lots of goodness coming for February with our Sawyer collection. We're talking to you soon.